Hey guys, what's going on? Six here, and today we're playing some Modern Warfare 3. What I'm going to be talking about today on this commentary is the future of CoD and the wish list of what I want it to be. So, I think that, the series has been going good in terms of sales and popularity, even though quite recently, ever since about Black Ops, people have been raging because, oh, each game is too much like the last, blah blah blah. Activision, everyone is just money whores. Anyway, in order to correct this, and I think to set off CoD in a new direction, I think it needs to have a huge paradigm shift of how CoD is played and the image of it for the future in future games. This means, quite possibly, this means abandoning the old formula that CoD used to have as over-the-top action, 60 frames a second, although that can still be achieved. That doesn't have to go out the window. And quite possibly just crazy arcade action that CoD 4 and on is known for. In order to do this, I think first the publishers have to look at their current business model and say, alright, every Call of Duty we have released sells more and more copies than the last. We have to be doing something right. From a business perspective, that's what you would be thinking. But from the fans' perspective, you would be their way of playing it safe and saying, well, they really liked Modern Warfare 2, so let's not change a lot. Let's just add on and call it Black Ops. Alright, people really liked Black Ops 2. It sold even more than Modern Warfare 2. When we go and make Modern Warfare 3, we're going to tell Infinity Ward, okay, make Modern Warfare 3. You have 2 years. And Infinity Ward, with their scandal and everything, ousting a whole lot of their key members, said, alright, well, it's going to be the last of the Modern Warfare series. Let's take what Black Ops did right and add on to it, but still not changing the key formula of a true sequel. And this has made a lot of fans mad because they're thinking, it's too much like the last one. If you keep doing this, I'm gonna go on to other games. And I think that's exactly what spawned the Battlefield versus Call of Duty fight, which still goes on today, and it's really fucking frustrating. So, in order to get rid of this, I don't have any specifics on what they would change it, but I think they would need to tone down the over-the-top balls-to-the-walls action a little bit in favor of maybe a more something that Call of Duty has never done before, such as adding actual vehicles, such as Battlefield has done, adding larger maps, such as Battlefield has done, or having higher player servers and game types. So far, PC has been the only console capable of delivering 64 players, and COD maps aren't meant for 64 players, so when you pop on a 64-player map, it's going to be hell and chaos, and you're going to get killed every time you spawn, which is what happens. So in order to counteract this, you need to make bigger maps and or a better spawn system. I would gladly take a better spawn system over bigger maps if I had to choose one over the other. The spawn system in Call of Duty is flawed at best. You sometimes can have people spawn right on top of each other sometimes. You can have enemies spawn right behind you sometimes. You can spawn right behind enemies sometimes. It can be really fucked up sometimes, and it can be very frustrating for people who are having a bad day and not having a good COD experience in the first place. So, this is a whole lot to ask for from developers and publishers, but I think it's just it's either it has to go away from it could still have the balls-to-walls action, but it needs to be known as less of an unrealistic, stupid arcade shooter that people refer to it as, and more of a grand experience that Call of Duty can deliver. I mean, it's already at the top of the FPS throne, but it's been getting some serious competition lately from Battlefield, soon to be, maybe even Hawken, some free-to-play games, DayZ, Arma 2, things like that, pulling a lot of fans away. So, in order to accomplish all of these new things that I want to put in, I think they need to start these changes off on a next-gen console. When you start things off on a next-gen console, possibly as a launch title, you're going to be saying, hey, look at all this new Call of Duty experience we're offering, and it's only available on the PS4, Xbox 720, or you know, a 2013, 2014 era PC. And I would be totally happy with that. If I think that when you show fans all these changes you've made to the COD formula, and I'm not talking like Black Ops 2 changes, I'm talking like paradigm shift of Call of Duty. So it is like an entirely different Call of Duty experience than what we've had COD 4 on. And you say, look at all this stuff we've been able to deliver with our new technology, all this great stuff. You know, we have more in-depth stealth missions. We have like a free roaming single player, or we have single player progression, or you know, we have a persistent fighting in multiplayer rather than just a whole bunch of individual matches going on. Kind of like what End War did when they had their at the end of like each month or something, it would calculate the total of like how much of each team won and tell you who's winning the war, and would give you bonuses based on that. I think that's a great idea, and it would add a lot to the COD formula. They could add things such as, you know, free roaming single player and make it a not quite such a linear experience. I think that would be a welcome addition. That would take time to do. That would have to be in the works for quite a while without... it'd be hard to pull off. But, you know, with a next-gen console and the amount of talent in a developer studio, I think they could pull it off. What we don't need is a new Call of Duty like what I'm talking about on a current console. Current consoles are not powerful enough to handle this kind of stuff. You can't, maybe PC, and you could make it PC exclusive, but that would totally cut down on the amount of money it makes, because let's face it, like the majority of COD players are on consoles. You could make it for the PC and port it to the consoles, but I don't think that would work out too well. You got to make sure it's built for a next-gen console, because this generation, they're not very powerful anymore, and you can see that in the games that we're putting out today. Especially if it's multi-platform. If it was made for the PS3, it would look a bit better than the Xbox, because the PS3 is a bit more powerful than the Xbox. But since it's multi-platform, you have to make them common ground so it can run on all platforms. So everyone suffers because it caters to the lowest and weakest console, excluding Wii. They cater it down really low to Wii, which is not seen in higher up consoles. I mean, you can see these kinds of limitations even when Black Ops 2 will come out. I mean, Black Ops 2, they're focusing on lighting techniques and a whole bunch of stuff that will make the game look better, but not really have such a higher tax on hardware. But, you know, higher resolution textures and muddy textures that MW3 and Black Ops have had, I mean, we can't have a definitive next-generation Call of Duty with the changes I was talking about on this generation of consoles. I mean, it's the presentation. I mean, the controls and stuff may be there. I don't think they're going to be changing the control schemes too much for the next generation consoles. Definitely not PlayStation. They've been rolling with their same controller for like ever since PS1, and I don't think Xbox is going to change their controller too much. So the only thing that is different about next-gen's hardware is the networking capacity, the online services, you know, the presentation, the hardware inside of it. And the definitive next-gen Call of Duty title that's going to totally change the face of FPS and the Call of Duty series as a whole is they would not be a good choice putting it on this generation's console. It would be doing it a disservice. The graphics wouldn't be up to par. Everything that they would do on a next-gen console and make it a launch title would just further cement it as the new chapter in Call of Duty history. And the bad thing about this is that if people really like it and it sells really well, it sells even better than all other Call of Duties to date, and it's really successful, people are going to look at that and say, well, we're going to make more of it, and it's just going to be like what it has been. 4 or 5 years from when I'm talking about this, people are going to be like, I'm tired of free roaming single players, I'm tired of all this stuff, please do something different. And it's going to be like what we're at right now. and I don't know what they're going to do from there. We're just going to follow the innovation trend and see what happens. So, in conclusion, the best Call of Duty ever needs to be a paradigm shift of what we have right now. I mean, I really like the Call of Duty we have right now, but it's got to be something different if we want to retain our fans. And it has to be done on a next generation console to maximize the performance and awesomeness of what it can be. So, this has been Mr. Sixa. You've listened to a fan's perspective of where Call of Duty needs to go. This is not a rant. I do not hate Call of Duty. I do not hate Battlefield. I love Battlefield. I probably played it before a lot of the fanboys were, because a lot of the fanboys went over to Battlefield 3, never hearding of Battlefield before. And never hearding? Jeez, my grammar sucks. Never heard of Battlefield before. They're like, oh, Battlefield 3, let's hop on that. Become bandwagon. So, anyway. Hope you enjoyed the commentary, and hope you enjoyed the gameplay.